Right, it's Mike from the Mike James Rock Show, and we're joined with the absolute legend that is Mr. Jamey Jasta.
I go stop, and I go, keep it coming.
Okay, yeah, podcaster, frontman of a kick-ass band. You were a record label owner.
Not anymore.
You were?
Yeah.
Headbangers Ball, sorry. I've probably missed something out there.
Yeah,
you're a man of many
projects.
Talents within the music industry.
Yeah, I try. What do they say? Trying is failing with honor. So the label didn't work out so great, but you never know. I mean, things are turning around now. There's some new bands I like that I hear that sometimes I'm like, oh, should I bring it back?
Ooh.
I still have a distribution deal, but
okay.
I haven't put anything out just because you're more likely to get your money back, investing into something else other than music. But
I was going to touch on the business side of things later on, but you're here you're playing Impericon here in the UK and around Europe, but you've got a brand new album out as well.
Yeah, well, 1 week till the album.
That's true. I've had it a few days and I've listened to it non-stop.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
Such a step up. It's been a couple of years since the last one, and wow, it's like, I can understand why you took the time to craft it perfectly, because lyrical context are ferocious and angry, yet still gentle and beautiful at the same time. You get your point across, and the riffs and the beats and everything are just a lot more up there and solid, man.
I appreciate that. Yeah, no, we took our time. We made sure we did it right. Someone was joking around the other night, like, oh, you guys had 8 months off, and I was like, no, you don't understand. We did a record, mixed, mastered, recorded, and if it wasn't for Soundwave getting canceled, we really only had about 4 months of a break. So, it depends how you look at it. And so having compiled all those ideas over last year, even though there were breaks in between the touring last year, we toured.
Because you did pockets of, you did like Ghost Fest over here, then you went and did like Hawaii and places like that.
Yeah,
so it's
we did
like
the
little
Motorhead
weekend.
cruise.
Yeah, of course.
Well, even prior to that, like in January, February, March, April, May, I mean, we were, we did the Black Label Society tour, we did the Slipknot tour. Yeah. So
you got a lot off the last album, because you were out with Five Finger doing arenas, and then out with Slipknot doing arenas as well. So are you hoping this album will do the same thing, but this time you'll be headlining the arenas? Is that possibility?
I don't think for us it would ever really happen that way, because we don't get the push at commercial radio.
Of course,
if you can get the push at commercial radio, certainly you can become an arena act.
Yeah.
But usually the arena acts are country, hip hop, pop. I mean, some like Breaking Benjamin can do some scaled down arenas or some convention centers, but then there's like the Kid Rocks of the world. Anybody that's on commercial mainstream radio can do that. If radio comes around and wants to play like Something's Off, which I feel like could be a big hit, we'll see. I mean, we did get.
So I quite like is it Something in the Wall track on the album, because it's got proper anthemic kind of fist pump in the air type tune. Have you already decided which tracks are going to be released as singles from the album? Because you've already released 2-ish kind of online and things. Is that a logic? Is that the plan now is to release more off the album, or are you going to wait for the album to drop and then another video album sort of a few months down the line?
I guess it depends. Yeah, we're going to do another lyric video, I think, for Seven Enemies, and then I think, because this video is starting to go viral a little bit, we'll probably wait for the second video. But we're just getting offered some pretty big stuff. Like, we confirmed some festivals in the States, like where we're playing with Volbeat and Seether and Killswitch.
You came over here with Volbeat, didn't you?
What's that?
You came over here with Volbeat. It was about 18 months ago, was it?
Oh yeah, we did the UK with Volbeat. Yeah, I saw some kids today from the show that we played here in the big room.
Nice.
Which is great to see, because you're, as a band that, like I said, doesn't get that commercial radio play, that's how you gain fans. You got to go out and tour, and so
because radio play in the States is a lot different to it is over here.
Oh yeah,
like
without a doubt. Yeah. I mean, even a band like Bring Me the Horizon, who's huge over here, they're getting to be bigger and bigger in the States. But now radio has finally come on board. It's like, look, the band has been huge for a long time. You're a little late to the game. They should, A Day to Remember, of Mice and Men, all those bands, they should be like frontline radio acts. I wish they would play that type of stuff all throughout the day. Give the new bands a chance. I mean, not that I don't like to hear, the AC/DC and the Aerosmith and stuff like that.
Good bit of classic rock, isn't it? It gets you up in the morning.
the new bands need a chance too.
Oh yeah. Besides the likes of Bring Me the Horizon and Bury Tomorrow that you guested with on their new album, are there any British bands that you are keeping an eye on?
Well, I'm excited that for this new Discharge record. I just feel I feel like the new singer is great. The band has a lot more to offer. There's other UK bands that I'm just starting to hear of now that people have sent me for the podcast. I'm so backed up on my list of music that I have to listen to.
I've been an avid fan since the second episode dropped.
Oh, cool! Thank you.
Every single one. There's been some. It's inspired me to start a podcast of my own as well, because we've got this radio show. We're just starting to do a bit on TV side of things as well. But the podcast, I've sat there with this hard drive for 8 years worth of interviews, and last year we did 250 interviews. And why play them once on a radio? Get them out and get them out again.
Yeah,
kind of
keep
thing.
them up and archive them.
Yeah, that's absolutely. Exactly. Yeah. But also, your style of interviews on the podcast have inspired me to interview better. And some of the people you've interviewed are just mesmerising. Like Mina Caputo, is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah.
That podcast was just outstanding, man. I got some interaction between her and myself on Twitter off the back of that, just saying that that's the kind of education you want in schools, that kind of thing. Do you feel with your podcast that you are now becoming this mainstay that bands want to come on the Jasta podcast because you're getting the numbers and the listeners to it as well?
Yeah. I've had a lot of publicists reach out to me that I was surprised, like, oh wow, this person wants to come on, and now it's even outside of music that I'm getting people on, so it's cool. Yeah. And I'm gonna try to see where the future takes me, but right now, I think I have another 4 episodes with Adidas, which is great, to have a big company like that behind us.
Yeah.
And then after that, we'll see. But yeah, I was supposed to do Lita Ford, Al Jorgensen. I mean, I have a lot. Al Jorgensen's going to be a 2-part thing that I'm going to try to get out when I get back to the States. But there's a lot of stuff that I want to do with it. Different sections, different themes, different. I've been even thinking about maybe even going to scripted podcasting, which would be cool.
Is that going down the more comedy side? Because I've heard you say that you want to do like a stand-up show at some point in your life. Is that the kind of scripted thing that you're...
The stand-up thing, I've been trying to write 5 minutes of material to do at my brother's open mic. My brother does like an open mic that they do like everything from comedy to performance art to music, and so I'll start there. You got to go and bomb at a couple open mics before you really get your feet wet.
It's the same as being a musician, isn't it? You've got to hone your craft, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. And for me, that's just to... When I say stand up, it's more like public storytelling that I could do when I want to take the podcast into a live setting. So if I was going to do the podcast in a live setting with a guest, I'd want to have 5 or 10 minutes of sort of intro, funny storytelling type of thing.
Type things like that.
Yeah, to get the audience warmed up, and then just offer more of a show than just to kind of sit there and have a guest on. But I feel like right now there's so many opportunities. I mean, there's even a lot of books in punk and hardcore and metal that don't have audiobooks out yet.
Okay.
So, that's another thing where people who like podcasts like audiobooks as well. Yeah. So that could be a lane I could go down. We'll see. Right now it's been cool that...
Do you book your own acts for the podcast, or have you got someone that approaches PRs and such like to book those interviews with you?
A little bit of both, yeah. A little bit of both. This tour, I probably should have already had 10 done.
Yeah.
But I've been doing so much press for the Concrete Confessional that's my priority. And so tomorrow, London, I start at 10 a.m. and my interviews finish at 7 p.m. and then we play at 9.
That's a brutal day.
Yeah, and that's how my days have been for the most part, especially before we came to this. I was in New York for 2 days, radio, TV, press. So...
You're doing stuff with Stern and all the big names? Or is it
I
more
did
sort
Opie and Jimmy, which is
the
second biggest show behind Stern. No, I wanted to do the after show with Stern. I'm in contact with Richard and some other people there, so we'll see. Maybe that'll happen when I get back, but I do want to try to go on everybody else's podcasts as well. I'm trying to get on Jericho's, I'm trying to get on Steve Austin's, I'm trying to get on Rogan. So we'll see. I so far so good. Jericho said he's going to have me on.
That's cool.
I think Chael Sonnen's going to have me on again. So I think that's another really good way to get your music and your message out now, because so many more people are listening to that than commercial radio. We just need to figure out how to get the song played without having to go through a lot of label red tape.
We found it here. Like, we can go to a festival, say Sonosphere, Bloodstock, Download, and they're selling thousands of tickets, but that's not transpiring into like Radio 1 Air Daytime or those kind of radio stations. Whereas they're playing R&B, hip hop, and all the pop stuff, but they can't sell the tickets. So there's got to be a happy medium where the rock can go that way, and the hip hop and stuff, and the R&B can go the other way. But
it could change.
It's all up in the air at the moment. It's a crazy way, like you say in the podcast, of like just finding a lane and finding other aspects to go off and getting your sound or your brand into as many places as possible. Is that what's happening with the Concrete Confessional? Have you got tracks on sort of movie soundtracks? Because I know that's a big thing with you as well, getting that kind of thing out there into adverts and
actually right now
TV
we're doing a couple things where gamers are gonna do some live gameplay with the song playing, which is really cool because they've always asked if they could, and in the past we didn't have the proper paperwork to because you don't want their video to get flagged, because there's an algorithm that will search for copywritten content that's even in the background. And so we're making sure to take all the steps now where if gamers want to reach out to us and they want to do some gameplay, or even do like say an unboxing of a new console or a new game or an update, talking about some of the conventions coming up or something, and play the song in the background, we want to be able to do that without them having to get held up by label red tape. So that's one idea. Then we're thinking about having some people put clips on Instagram and things like that. So there's some new creative ways for heavy bands to get the music out there without having to spend thousands and thousands on a commercial radio campaign.
Also, it's much harder for rock bands because they'll be classed as being sellouts because they're like getting the money from this advert or this game or something like that. But surely that's what you want. You want to be able to earn money from your band, and there are so many bands nowadays that, well, even today there are bands that have played and they're going off to work tomorrow morning, and this is a big international touring festival.
The Haunted, we just had the Haunted support us in Gothenburg.
Okay.
Or no, was it Stockholm or Gothenburg? I think it was
up that way, Scandinavia.
It was Sweden. It was one of the Sweden shows. And they had to leave right after because they had work the next day. And that's the Haunted, and I go, man, if people actually...
And we saw them at Bloodstock a couple of years ago, and they really hyped the bill.
People should buy the records, and
that's it.
Then
buy the records, buy the concert tickets, and go to the concert.
And maybe there would be more time for them to, reinvest in their sound and their live show, whatever. But I commend them for being able to balance the home life and doing gigs. A lot of bands have to do that, especially working.
It's a hard thing nowadays, isn't it? Like you said yourself on the podcast, you've missed out on parts of your family life because you're on the road. We're all the bands we're interviewing this year. We're trying to kind of break off the shackles that all rock stars are rich and famous and whatnot. What's the one bit of advice you were given when you first started off your band that's really resonated with you, that you would pass on to an up-and-coming band that are looking for representation or management or just to get out there and get noticed?
Just, the people that you see on the way up, it's the people that you see in the plateaus and the valleys, and, it's peaks and valleys, it really is. Especially even at the highest level, there's bands that, it's the law of diminishing returns, you know what I mean? Like you can't keep doing the same thing and expecting different results. And so a band like us, people will say, oh, every record sounds the same, but if that was the case, then we wouldn't have grown our base every record. And so really you have to be realistic about things. You can switch up the style, but if you switch it up for something trendy, people are going to see that as a cash grab or as a ploy. So you have to be careful. And you have to be super pro. There's a lot of bands that can do the whole rock star thing, getting drunk, destroying things, and breaking up the dressing room and the hotel room and things like that.
They got to pay for it at the end of the day. That's
right.
The thing,
and so I say save your money. If you can sell 10,000 records, that's a big milestone. A lot of bands will sell that, and then the next record, they want to make that jump, but it's like, look, that's a good base. Just build from the base, and look at all these bands on this bill. This bill is very eclectic, and all these bands have been around for a minute, and they have built, their music and their message through whatever their labels and their touring history is. And I was watching Emir last night. I mean, they have a whole new lineup.
It's been crazy because they played the Ghost Fest that you guys did at the end of September time last year, wasn't it? They won that bill, and then it's all gone to crazy for them in the last 6 months.
And so now they're rebuilding, and it was pretty good.
Cool.
For restart, for basically starting over.
Yeah.
And the audience was receptive, and so you have to be able to take the good with the bad, bounce back, from a setback like that.
Yeah.
And
it's enough to end a band, something like that, isn't it, as well? You've got to be very strong-minded with.
Well, it did. It ended a lot of. Look at Chimera, it ended them.
Yeah.
And, there's a lot of bands that, even like to an extent, any sort of ups and downs in the industry, whether it's the changing of a format or changing of, what's in, I guess, demand at the venues. It's much different what's in demand at a venue than what's in demand at a streaming service or a radio station or.
But then you've got venues that are now taking their 20% on merch and all this kind of stuff. Everyone needs their slice of the money because there's not enough money to go around for music and gigs in general. It's a lot harder to be in a band, I think.
Well, that's like, that going into it, it's like everyone's hand is going to be in your pot and you're going to be the last one to get the stew.
Yeah. So just for hypothetical, say the Concrete Confessional were completely bombed, it pissed off the whole band, you all broke up, what would be next for Jamey Jasta besides podcasting? What avenue would you go down?
I'd probably travel. I'd probably travel and do, maybe try to get more of a balance with my home life and do more stuff at home that I've been wanting to do that I just haven't had the time to do.
Like getting rid of all your CDs that are in storage.
Yeah, I've been working on that.
I've got something for you for that.
Yeah.
Do you guys in America have allotments where people can go and sell, grow their own products it's like a backyard kind of thing, but it'd be like a community garden type thing?
Oh yeah, well, you know what? Actually, a friend of mine, it's $35 you pay, and you go to like this weekly like flea market.
Okay, no, this is like where you basically you live in an apartment or something. You haven't got a plot of land, but the council or the local authority has a field and they divide it up into bits. And you get an allotment, and you get allotted this 6x6 piece of land, and you can grow vegetables or flowers and stuff. My brother did exactly the same thing. I had stacks and stacks of CDs, and he linked them all together with fishing wire and hung them up off the top of the sort of allotments, and it spun around and it stopped the birds from getting the seeds and stuff.
Wow!
Just an idea. My bro was like, "You should tell Jamey that, man," because he listens to the podcast
That's
as well.
That's a good idea.
I'll pass that on to him now. There you go, Mark.
Yeah. That is a good idea. Yeah, I think they're going to change the law though, so that the CDs are going to be recyclable.
Oh, that's cool.
The cases I think are, but not the CD itself. So once that happens, definitely I would love to recycle them, and so they don't go in the landfill. Yeah. But a lot of those bands, you never know. What if one of them has a resurgence? What if one of them if one of them like 10, 15 years from now is like a Refused, where it just becomes huge while they're broken up, or like at the gates, while they're away, it just becomes huge. But I don't know. I don't think I put any records out that were that good. So we'll see.
You never know. Someone could pick up.
They were good,
something,
but they weren't that good.
Yeah. Well, anyone could pick up for a CD from an old collection or something like that. The next thing you know, it's been remixed and there's a dance remix. If you look at Queens of the Stone Age recently, they've just reposted a remix by a DJ from London called Skepta. They sample a Queen's riff, and it's gone huge. They've blown it up online and everything. It's proper grime hip hoppy type thing, but it's just got this guitar lick over the top, and it's dirty. And you should check that out.
That's cool. Yeah, I'll check that out.
Before we wrap things up, how's Martyr Store going?
Good, yeah. I should probably say that we're gonna do a sale. Not 2 weeks from now. We're gonna do a whole other sale with Emir, because I saw that people in the UK, they were getting charged like an extra customs.
Yeah. That's standard from anything from the States. Really.
Is it? Okay, so we're gonna lower the price on the shirts, so that way if you do have to pay the customs, you only paid like $2 or $3 for the shirt. So yeah, we're gonna blow out a bunch of Emir merchandise, and
the green and sober T-shirt.
Oh yeah. I know. Yeah, and someone else was.
We're both waiting for that T-shirt.
All right, yeah. Brent the picture that Brent gave me, the photographer was like, no, I didn't give him. But I think he just thought I meant I just needed a photo, like for whatever reason. I don't think he thought I meant the photo was for the shirt design. I'm like, all right, I got to be very specific with Brent. But yeah, as soon as I get the rights to the photo of Brent that I want to use, I'll definitely get that up. And then also, we're going to make these new ones.
We got Mastodon play in the UK twice in August. It'd be great.
Oh, nice. Oh, yeah. Are they playing Bloodstock?
Bloodstock, and now Reading and Leeds as well, 2 weekends later. So,
oh, right on.
But yeah, we'll be all over Bloodstock. It'd be great just to turn up and go.
Yes. Yes, I got to get those for you.
On Instagram.
So I got till August?
Instagram, yeah, well,
okay.
End of July, beginning of August. Time flies over and stuff, man. But
all right, yeah.
I'll Instagram you a picture of me and Brent in the t-shirt. It's like, yeah.
For sure, yeah.
It's been cool, man.
He needs his own line. He needs his own.
He needs his own podcast, man. That would just be insane.
Yeti wear or something like like his own clothing line.
yeah. That'd be cool. It's been an absolute pleasure catching up with you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
You really are an inspiration to myself and Dan here on the camera.
Oh, I appreciate that. No, that's cool. I'm glad we got to do it. Appreciate the time.
No, it's been awesome.
All right,
Thank you very much. That's cool.